Welcome back to Timberborn, and again I am recording this one before you've seen the last video because I'm having fun. So we're going a little bit heavy on the Timberborn videos at the moment. If you're a fan of Timberborn, probably great. If you're not, oh well, you're probably not watching. So yeah, 12-day drought should be easy money. I have added in simple triggers. I have removed the ladders mod. Now that's based on comments in the simple triggers mod on the Steam Workshop, which says they conflict. I think I did test it actually, and it went bang. So I'd rather have simple triggers at the moment over the ladders mod because we're not using that. What that's going to let me do is just at the moment some really basic pause, unpause, pause, pause, unpause, pause. You know the drill. Pause, unpause, pause, pause, unpause, pause, and also up here. We're just going to do a set height when bad tide starts. Yes, we ultimately want to replace these with sluices, but we have a viable solution at the moment, so it's not a priority to rebuild it. What I'd like to do, and I'm kind of wondering if with the addition of one ladder, I bet if I put this ladder here, whether we can get some mangroves going. Looks like we can. We're going to have the issue that this will dry out in longer droughts. And I want to try and do something in the long term a bit more interesting to keep that hydrated. But we'll have to work on that. In the short term, probably we'll think about a water dump, but in the long term, I would like to maybe build like a water tank up here and have a deep mechanical pump fill it and use a sluice gate, something like that. Is what I'm thinking. But for now, let's just, if I select trees, start throwing in. We'll mark the whole thing, except the area they can't reach, and then we'll unmark it, and hopefully there'll be some natural spread. Speed the game up a little bit as well. Obviously, with the addition of simple triggers, we get the benefit of using floodgates, not floodgates, stream gauges and stuff as well. So that'll be good. So we need more science and therefore more beavers. Did have a suggestion about increasing verticality in the colony at the moment. I'm not sure we really need to yet. Now, there's a good chance that most of what we built will end up getting rebuilt. But I'm not sure verticality is going to be a massive... You are on automate, yeah. You're on automate. I'm surprised both of those aren't paused at this point. Yes, they have just paused. Okay. Cool. But yeah, we could do with freeing up science. That would be good. Scrap metal's getting a little bit low. So let's unpause one of those. We can go delete this guy. That'll get rid of that flashing thing and get rid of one of the warnings. We've got a couple of injured beavers, but we do have the medical beds now, so that's okay. We'll keep this for in case we need it. Yeah, we're a little way off my kind of goal, which was to unlock these guys. these guys. So I think it might be worth throwing in. I know what we need to do while we're in a drought. We need to get rid of this. Actually need to mark it for demolishing. We can get that sorted. Let's get rid of that to free up the flow through there. Not that it's really significantly important. Is there anything else I needed to do that was drought dependent? Don't think so. We really need to get those. I don't think we do. That bit of path can go. No. I think we're relatively okay. We are relatively full on logs, so I'm going to pause a couple of the lumberjacks. We've got some more trees to mark for planting, so let's do that. Up here, there we go. I think we're okay keeping this farmhouse paused for now. We're pretty well stocked on crops. Right, that's been ripped out, so we can then come in here and put in all of those. Obviously in the long term, levees are not, it doesn't really matter what we use to block those up, but dirt would be neater. But yeah, it doesn't matter that much. So I don't really want to use anything that's going to, I was going to say we could build stuff, but anything we build is going to use up science, really, which is not something that I want to do particularly unless, yeah, everything else we're pretty good on. So I think we just speed up time a little bit, get those done. We've actually got a full complement of beaverage. If I check this guy out, yeah, he can get to there. So that's as far as he can plant. Cool. So that's good. So we're just waiting for 1.5k science. Actually, I know what we need to look at. Do we have, so we could do with some more gear storage. So let's throw in as we wait for the save. We'll put a storage there for gears. How's the power grid looking? Yep, we're okay there. So what I thought about doing, because we can now hook this in, is while we're waiting for the large amount of science that we need, it might be beneficial, just in case we max out our demand, to throw one of those there. Yes, I know it's not connected to the engine, it's fine. Everything's connected anyway. And then, so we've got enough gear storage now. Plank storage we've got plenty of. Metal storage we've got plenty of. And then we'll work on connecting this in for when the drought ends. But yeah, we get that in, and that'll be useful because that way the engine can run through the night, filling this up. So if there's any over demand on power, then we'll be good. Right, so power connection. We don't actually need to fill along the back there. We can just go there. Right, build that. Go there, and then on the top there. And that'll sort that out. So they, the devs are still continuing to update the experimental branch, and I didn't actually realise that for at least the first video I was still on the experimental branch, but I've switched across to the main branch now. So we'll kick that so they keep that 95% full. So they keep those reasonably full. And I did try and go back, but the mods that I'm running aren't compatible at the moment with the update, with the experimental branch. The reason that I thought it might be useful to go back is because why are these paused? There must be enough power, yeah. This is the engine's generating enough. Oh no, there's not. Okay. That's why it's useful to have batteries. So, let's go with a, say, 50%. 50%. There we go. Actually, I'm going to turn that off. And instead, yeah, we'll just pull power out of the batteries, which I guess I'm not going to charge now because we're using hill. But anyway, yeah, there's a new map, which I was really surprised by this late into the development of Update 7. Looks kind of cool, makes use of all the 3D terrain and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's I think it's called Hollows, something like that. And I guess if I hadn't started a new series, that might have been a candidate, because it might have stayed on the experimental branch and played that. But anyway, 1500 science. Let's throw in our number cruncher. So if I put it forwards a little bit, we can still get a path through there, which will be useful. We've got enough planks, enough metal blocks, not quite enough gears, but we've got spare beavers at the moment, I guess, because we're not using them in there. So let's get them in there and we'll build even more log storage. As I said, I don't plan to, but we might end up using it. So let's go a little bit vertical, shall we? This is where ladders would have been useful, I know. But just do some really inefficient pathing like that. Make that supply. I'd much rather have simple triggers than ladders, to be honest, at this point. The other thing is, probably wouldn't hurt to pick some berries, so we'll do that. Water supply is looking good, so yeah. Really pleased to be getting this going at this point in the series. I like to try and prioritize one of these because currently we're using 6 and admittedly spare beavers to generate science. And this won't run during droughts at the moment. But if we can get more haulers going, that's going to be better. So, and eventually more builders. What I would like to think about doing is a discharge. That means we need to be thinking about bad water and explosives pretty soon. So we need a deep bad water pump. That's not too much science. And we need the explosives factory. That's not too much science either. So, excuse me, just need to move something which is sat next to me and annoying me. So I don't think any of that is too far away. There we go. So we'll just set that to suspend if there's not enough power so that it doesn't say that it lacks power. But yeah, that should be pretty good. So they're all planted. Then if we mark the edges to not be planted, they should spread. I don't know if they will spread past the path. Now, technically, at the moment, we don't need the path, but I guess we'll find out. But that will give us a source of food. Let's make sure they're not marked for cutting. Excellent. How much water do we have in there? Yeah, hopefully that should last. Cool. And if I started to... It really looks like there should be a water source buried in there. No, there's not, but it really looks like there should be. I'm kind of pondering. Because gravity batteries don't lose power. Hooking up, if we got up here, it so looks like there should be a waterfall coming out of there. Anyway. A couple of gravity batteries and some water wheels down here and plumbing power up to here and a deep mechanical pump upwards. Lots of science again. Lots of science. Yeah, it's another 2,500 science. So we're just going to be hemorrhaging the science all over the place at the moment. It's almost possibly worth extending the path down and replicating this once our gear supply recovers. I'm almost tempted to throw an engine on this, because it'll only, it'll run during the drought. So it only takes logs to run it. It's not the end of the world. And then at least it'll run continuously. That crazy? You might think it is. I don't. Drought has ended, so good. We need to come up here. We are 10 beavers short suddenly. Well, it's just dried out. That's not bad timing, is it? So we can deal with that. You need cut trees to come down here and cut those down, sir. Let's then pause all of these. Yep. go. All the crops are rehydrated again. Mangroves are growing again. We've got 10 days until our mangrove supply is back. We've already filled that up again, so I think we could probably stand to pause a couple of those. We've just got a lot of injured beavers at the moment, I guess, because we've got a lot of unfriendly industry running. So yeah, this is going now. I think as long as we've got like 20% power, we'll have that work. Basically, as long as there's water flowing, I want it to be doing its thing. This grid is now generating lots of power. This is generating not quite enough, but one of these working at half output is free science. So, you know, you've done your thing, so you can go away. We've got a couple of spare beavers, so I think we'll get some more haulers working now. I will unpause a couple of these just in case we end up with spare beaverage. But we really want to get that filled up. I think with this excess space up here, we'll throw in... I don't really want to throw science at that yet. We've got so much spare open space at the moment. We'll throw in another 2 of those. That gives us another 600 water storage. You need to be on path, obviously. Go, but you need to be prioritized. Don't need to bother about that because there is nothing, but you should, maybe if we automate you, actually there should be no demand for you. I'm just going to pause you, I guess because this is not generating quite enough. So probably we need to try and throw in some more water wheels. So let's see if we can do that to up our science generation. Just ease up on the speed. Sorry. I did mention last time, I think I've been watching a lot of Grog TV. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we did that, and that'll give a slight bit of restriction because we can't get one there because of all of the... I say we can't get one there because of all of the overhangs. If we can't get one there either. So nope, we can't. So let's delete those, shall we? We're going to need to come much further down, which is a tad annoying. What we could do instead is close that. And what I could do, actually, is we will spend a little bit of science on a stream gauge. Yeah, I don't like how high that is. I'll set that to 0.75. We don't want oodles of flooding. So that's now putting out a lot more power. But basically what I'm going to do is how's that? It could go a little bit more. Try 0.85. I guess this will provide relief if it's too much. A lot of beavers, we're getting a lot of concurrent death waves, I think, is the problem. So this is now generating 590. Awesome. So what we want to do is power, come in here and throw in one of those. So that gives us a little bit of a smoothing of the power generation. But yeah, that seems to be doing the trick. And this is now throwing out loads of power. We need more storage for planks. So let's put in a big storage for planks over here. I guess one of the reasons we're so short of beavers is these have unpaused. Now, it's probably worth us running the gears, but do we really need the planks going? Possibly while we restock our plank supply. But yeah, that solved the issue. Rather than rebuilding, we will be smarter and redirect stuff. Should be able to unpause that because excess power supply. It might kick in when the battery's built, but I think that's the way to manage it. I'd really like more going on, but we need to rebuild our gear supply. So yeah, we need to rebuild our population. Those death waves are really getting us. But you know, it is what it is. And I really don't want to spend science at the moment. So yeah, let's pause you again. Food's just fine, really. Water could do with going up quite a lot. And predominantly it's because we've just massively expanded our storage capacity. So yeah. It's not so much that we're pumping slower, it's that we're trying to store a lot more. We're now trying to store nearly 3,000 water. So yeah. Which is good. It's a good thing. And we've got a lot more haulers, so that's great. We have got a couple of beavers working on science. We've got some spare beavers, so I'm going to get a few more of those unpaused. Scrap metal's just about holding, so that's good. That's been built, so we'll get some more planks going on. Yeah. I wonder if... And they're not completely in sync. But they are quite in sync, aren't they? And, you know, not a big fan of in sync. Anyone? Anyone? The jokes don't get any better, folks. They don't get any better, I'm afraid. I did have the suggestion that we replace these with dams, but I don't think it really matters because we're not making use of the downstream flow yet. One of the things I was thinking about doing is getting down here and damming up down here and using this as a pumping reservoir. I guess to do that, we'd need to get some stairs in. Yeah, I think there's probably benefit in trying to do that. I guess the question is if we try and go up and over. That's probably not worth doing actually because it's going to be a really indirect route. So I think maybe we look at trying to dam across here and across here, because that's going to be the least amount of wood. So I think, how many times can I say I think? Quite a lot, I think. We'd just go for that. And yeah, I am really focusing heavily on water at the moment, because the point will come that droughts are going to get really long, and it's really going to hurt if we aren't prepared. So we're in cycle 7 at the moment. We've got 16 cycles of the duration being handicapped. So we're about halfway through that. Potentially, we've had some droughts and some bad tides, so we're not really. But yeah, so we do need to pay attention to that. And if we do it from this level, again, we can go up 2 plus a dam. So we're going to need some stairs up here to clear out some trees and stuff. Actually, we just need to clear those trees out there. And then this side, just some trees there. So we'll come in and get that done. Mark those for demolition. Mark that for demolition. And then this side, I'm going to really trigger people's OCD. We're going to build it right down here. Because we can make it that little bit bigger. And from here, we can go up to, that's at height 5. That tree's at height 6. So we should be okay actually to just come straight across. There, there, there. So that's saying height 3. Don't believe that. That's at that level, which is 2 above that level. So we might actually need to clear some trees out. I think what we'll do is we'll get them to build that, which they will be able to build. And we'll go from there. Yeah. But I think that will be beneficial. That running properly. We're aiming for 2,500 science so that we can put in the flywheels, and then we need to do sluice gates, we need to do explosives. There is a lot we need to get still, but what I want to do is come over here, and we are going to desynchronize all of these, and then I'm just going to take one of these. We're going to attach it to a stream gauge like that, and then floodgate height below threshold. So if the stream gauge is below 0.8, we will set that to 0.85. Yep. And then if it's above 0.49. Yep, I'll do. We will set it to 0.45. So what I'm hoping is that if this rises too much, so if this goes up to 0.91, this one will open on its own and hopefully be enough to lower this so that we don't get any flooding. That's the theory. Obviously not tested, and this water is obviously not hugely contaminated. It's only 25%. So, but remember, the plan is to get a bad water discharge up here so that we can keep this running continuously. So, yeah. How are these looking? They are 80% of the way there, so we need to think about a fruit picker dude. So I'm going to empty that one. Start getting in. And get that. So that's that, and then go. So you go across there. You go across there. You go across there. There. And then dams on the top. And that should be the same as that. Yep. Then if we go to this one, which is one block lower, I think I need to do one block more of levees. Yes, I know I don't need that one in the corner. Yeah, and then one layer of dams on top, which means we need to do some tree removal. So what we can do there, we can actually do some tree cutting, couldn't we? I think we'll do that. That's quite a lot of trees in there, so yeah. The other thing we need to think about at some point is tubeways. Right, you're empty, so let's get rid of you. You should probably be a supply, I think. Food, gather a flag, there we go. So we have got some mangroves now. And then we need some storage for mangroves over by where the beavers live. So you will be mangroves obtain, and let's just do a medium warehouse there for mangroves. Awesome. Not quite got up to our 2.8k in science yet. I've got 4 builders. It's good. Not quite filled our water supply up yet, but we're getting there. Prioritize the build of the gatherer flag. Okay, for berries. Yep. We might not get this project done before the next drought starts, because it could start within the next 3 days now. I'm not massively worried about that. It's more of a thinking about long term and our ability to prepare. What I am thinking is we will just rip those out. And we will also rip those out. Because the inefficiency in the path is really bugging me. The non-straight path might bug some of you, but you know. Some of us have weird curvy edges. So that will be able to get all of the mangroves. Awesome. I think we'll set you to be mangroves and a supply. And then we can straighten that through there. We're going to put in a couple of log stores here. Set to obtain, so the haulers can help with this building project. Because otherwise it's going to take absolutely for freaking ever. We've got our 2,500 science. I think we wait. Do we wait? Do we wait? This is ripping nicely. Maybe we don't wait. Water supply should be okay. Question mark. Oh, I didn't mean to delete that block. Oh well. Let's put that back. And then power, flywheel, medium, yeah. See, I would have called that a vertical frame flywheel, personally. But anyway. There we go. Yes, thank you. That's going to hold 15,000 horsepower hours. Currently, we use up to about, let's call it 500 horsepower hours. So 8,000 a day. This is enough to run the colony for 2 days. So if we get a few of these built, it's a few more days if we can fill them off of the wheels that we don't have to run the engine. So that's kind of my thought. And the idea is that we build them behind this. We're going to have a bit of faff with access and stuff, but you know, that's what I'm thinking. And we could always come in and build some back here and connect power around the back, because we're not using this space, so you know. And they look cool, and it's a cool mod, so you know. Yeah. But the focus probably for the next few cycles is going to be on food supply, water supply, and then slowly expanding tech. So there we go, that's starting to spin up. It's spinning up really quickly actually, which is awesome. Yeah, what we could do is I think quite easily. Throw one in. Back here. Is that power? Yeah, that power connection's open. Put it there. The beavers can get to that. So we can do that. Then we can just connect the power around the back. And that'll give us like 4 days of free power. Assuming this, I mean, yeah, it's going to be spun up, so. And then we'll just get some more built. So, and then the plan, obviously, as I said, is to try and get how much science is it? It's 4,000 science. It shouldn't take us that long to get the science. We've actually got plenty of spare beavers, so I think I'm going to put in. Actually, going to delete. Oh, I can't delete that because it hasn't got a high up power connection. I want to put in another gear workshop. We'll put it this end. Wood, gears. There you go. Prioritize the build of that because for a change in a Timberborn Let's Play, gears are an issue, you know? Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thunk it? With the engine in place, obviously, this will run the number cruncher at slightly lower efficiency, but it'll still run it, so that's good. Again, if no, we can't. If we had explosives, we could put one of these back here. We will get explosives soon. Also, we've got Drought coming. As I said, we won't get this finished in time. So they can't reach that one. So they might start building this side. Yeah. They're probably building the stairs. Oh, we forgot to prioritize those by haulers. It's probably worth us getting the extra farmers going now. We could start to think about some well-being stuff. Scratches are a nice, easy build, aren't they? Yeah. Well, I've not built that yet. Okay. Let's throw in a few scratches. There. Let's make sure they get some of these things built. Because they've got a pretty big project going on. So, yeah. We need that to be built before the drought kicks in. And that ideally, because it's our free power. Possibly not going to get it hooked up. So could be an issue. Yeah. Oh well. And kind of my thought is that we put in a... Did we end up filling our waters? Not quite yet. So we're possibly not going to get our water stock filled up, but that's fine. What we do is, particularly once we've got tubeways, we put in a couple of water pumps that, using simple triggers, switch on during the drought. And are in this area. That's kind of my thought. It's kind of my thought. I think that would work quite well. Do need to also think about another forest area. Food area is doing okay at the moment. We need to build some more housing as well. I think for now, and this is not going to be cheese, we're going to make use of this warehouse. Come on. So that's the drought started. Let's just pause for a second so we can think. Yeah, we'll put in some kohlrabies in there, you know. Why not, eh? There we go. So we now don't need to worry about prioritizing that because it didn't get filled up with power. Yeah, I think other than that, we are, yeah, they've been paused. Those will pause. Probably end up with a bunch of spare beavers. Yeah, that's going to take a bit of time for them to get built, obviously. But they'll get there. They'll get there. $19-day drought. We've got 2,600 water at the moment. So grab the old calculator again. So 2,600 divided by, what's that, 41. Let's say we end up with 45 beavers times 2.2. We've got enough water for 26 days, so we should be good. It does say to me that we need to be increasing our water pumping capacity, which means we should look at ripping these trees out probably. So what I'm going to do, because this is temporary, we're going to use warehouse cheese. I think warehouse is cheese for is fine for temporary structures. They're working on that, which is fine. And yeah, that's all okay. So this guy is now powering the colony, and it's going to last another day or another 25 hours. So, you know, it's not a lot, but it does a little bit. This guy is running the number cruncher, so we're still generating science. And I think with that, we should start looking at explosives. So ideally, we want to be capturing bad water somewhere. Just looking. Because this is only like 25%, isn't it? So it's not going to be very efficient bad water pumping, is it? So I kind of wonder if we want to compromise the pumping quality. The alternative is, and this is mixed as well, isn't it? Because it's got water sources in it. I wonder what quality of the person that said I should change that was right. We're going to wait. We're going to change these over to be levees. And maybe we pump bad water out of here. Maybe that's what we do. I don't actually know if we've seen this drop enough that that's been an issue. Maybe right at the end. But I don't think, other than if we came right up towards the source, if we're getting pure bad water anywhere, yeah, so we came right up here. So is it time that we think about tubeways? We could, so I've got I thought I had. Got the tubeway station, got the tiny tubeway station from bobbing about. I feel like we should unlock the tubeway station to unlock it properly. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking that maybe our first tubeway is to get us up towards this, because this is a goal. And we pump our bad water up here. So maybe we set it up here. We've got loads of science now. So yes. I guess we need the other one as well, don't we? We need the solid tubeway. The last time I did tubeways, I was using ember pelts, and they all kind of worked much more nicely. Okay. And then we'll run up the river because you don't have to worry about contamination in the while you're in the tube, which is weird. But, you know, it's what the devs have decided. So yeah, first tubeway going in. Kind of cool. It's a long one, but you know. And I guess you could say that we don't need to worry about ladders as much, apart from like short distance things you do. If we've got the tubeways, so yeah, I think maybe we look at somewhere here. We'll unlock the tiny tubeway station as well. These. I mean, that's going to be a pretty big building project, isn't it? On top of the other big building project that we've got going on. Which actually they've made pretty freaking solid progress on. So, you know, that's a thing. And I'm actually just going to tell them to delete those two trees like that, and that'll let us get a path in there. And we can also just delete those few trees across there. And that'll work. How have they built all of that? Guess they could get up there, couldn't Yeah. I think that might let them build both of those. Do a bit of prioritizing of those. So I think we might end up running out of path distance. Let's prioritize those as well. Also going to need to delete these. There we go. Yeah, and then you can go pick you up. Log supply is actually holding up surprisingly well. It's gone. Get rid of you. And then we are going to put in a platform. Another water pump. Right, so then we can do that to there. And then we can also start doing is dams like that. Damn. Yeah, again. They don't get any better, folks. They don't get any better. There we go. That's doing that one. That's going in. That's starting to go in as well. Exciting stuff. Planks and metal blocks. We've got metal blocks. We've got planks. So, yep. Starting to worry that we might need a water dump for our mangroves. So we're going to clear that off just temporarily. We'll do a cooler solution in the fullness of time. But we need other things for that. Yeah, bear with me, folks. Bear with me while we make the progress we need to make to unlock all of the things. Right, let me carry on again. Make sure that gets removed. And let's also unlock the fluid dump. Because I'm not sure that's going to last 10 days. So. In fact, let's put that in ready, shall we? That needs some path. There we go. Those can go away. Love the terrain that's on this map. It's very cool. Very cool. And we start the... I know I could do stuff with other things, but we start the slow process of putting in the dam pieces. So what I'm going to do is put in a bunch of them, pause the rest of them, and prioritize them so they happen. And yeah. It should be relatively relatively quick. The alternative is we put this one in. Oh, sorry, this one in. Build it, put a staircase up to it, and then we work from there. I mean, we could kind of work that angle as well by deleting that. There we go. Let's unpause that one. That's been deleted. We could put in staircase. I'll need to delete that one as well. All these lovely trees we're deleting. Then if we prioritized all of that as a higher priority, and also put in that piece as a high priority and pause that one. Then what we should be able to do is delete those, put those in, let the game save, and then come in with a path along the top. And that one's in. Once they've got that one built, that will stop them getting to the rest of this. Because the beavers are dumb like that. There we go, and then we can unpause all of these. And probably if we want to get this to happen relatively fast, let's do that. That should get that going. At the same time, they're working on getting this done, so that's awesome. So at night, this will charge up to, if we have this be a higher number, this will run through the night trying to charge the battery up. We can now get rid of this little dude because he loses power faster than the bigger one. So, yep. But then any excess power that the engine can generate, because, for example, the gear and plank storages are full, will get stored. And then when it's needed, it'll be used. So, oh, let's get, yes, we've got 6 days. Let's get this built because these are going to last 15 days. Okay, so they're going to be okay. But they won't keep producing fruit while they're in that state. So, the other thing we can do at that point is, come on, yes, all we go. Look at replacing these with levies. Whoever suggested it, yes, you were right. It was a good idea, but for alternative reasons. Do the same thing. Prioritize the front two, and then build the rest. Awesome, that's done. So that's one side built, and that side should get built. They're getting built. Brilliant. Oh. Yeah, they can build that now. That's been built. They are dumping water. The beavers are showering still. Water supply is going to last us another 13 days. This we want to set with the same setup. Pause, unpause, pause. Yep. We'll let those die out. That'll be fine. Our food supply will be okay. We might just end up eating some of the less desirable crops. It'll all be okay. Don't worry, folks. That'll get built eventually. Oh, we've got 12 excess beavers at the moment. Okay. We should throw in some more random science huts. Low priority, and expand our number of haulers. Let's deprioritize those. Let's prioritize their build. Let's increase the number of haulers. Now, we'll probably want to reduce that at some point, but anyway. You can pick the few berries that there are. Awesome, that's going in. I'm hoping at the same time they're working on building that. Yeah. So ideally we would put pumps in here. But that'll mean running another tubeway, which we could do. We could run a little tubeway network from over here somewhere. You will put us in a obtain because that'll help our water dump dude. Dump water better because he's struggling to keep this full. So we do need to think about longer term hydration of these trees. We have a plan, just need to get it to work, which means we need certain other resources. But we'll get there, we'll get there. We're approaching bad water on 2 angles. Getting up to one of the bad water sources, and that's also because we want to be looking at getting the bad water discharge, but we've got the science for it now. I put more gear storage in. Because yes, that would be beneficial. Small warehouse. Let's throw that there. We've got 180 metal storage. It needed 200 metal, so yeah, we could probably cope with that, although actually it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have more metal storage. We need a second layer for our storage really, but for now let's just throw in another one of those for metal. See, this charges up at night. It's awesome. Does decharge a little bit. If we tighten this band up, that'd be good. One more day of the drought. We've still got 600 water, so has taxed our water supply quite a lot. Let's prioritize building the water pump, but that's almost done. Be able to pump next drought cycle, which will be good. Science is going up pretty rapidly. Let's also think about more water storage. So let's come here. Do another 2 water tanks. But we now also have a reservoir for pumping water during the drought, which is what this one's been built for. And it's not huge, but it's gonna do a decent job. And through that 20-day drought, we lost about a block, which I think is about what happens. And this guy is pumping straight away, which is great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're good. We're good for resources. They've just been pulled out of the research jobs, so that's cool. They're working on building that, which is awesome. Can't believe we're into Tubeways already. I'd like to get that built relatively soon. But yeah, you can see this is not pure bad water. This is the only pure bad water I think we're going to get. Because like once it's down here, it's, you know, like 30%, which is not great for pumping from. So and this is really quite clean. We'd have to come somewhere over here. Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's an issue. We've used all of that scrap up. So priority for next time is finding our next source of scrap metal. So that's going to be it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click that like button. Comments, questions, suggestions, as always, are welcome. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members, and I will see you next time. Really enjoying this series, if you can't tell. See you next time.